impact. But um of course people go ahead and also put a facade while they're on social media. You have to kind of, it's kind of a struggle to get to know the real them. So I feel like it can both inhibit and encourage depending on the person's intentions behind dating through social media.
Yeah. So my opinion on that, as far as, because right now, like in the social media world, especially me being like on, I'm online all the time. I look at a lot of podcasts and people, they tend to project an image that is not themselves. Just it's just like even with looking at pictures and people taking pictures, and a lot of us are getting, we get confused thinking that that's people's everyday lives, and and it can actually inhibit as far as like a relationship, because somebody will look at it and be like, oh well, look, they're going here and doing this every day, and then the average mind, we look at it and we're just like, oh well, I need to live that lifestyle, and then it makes a problem within certain relationships because people are not living like that every day, and I me myself, I try to analyze based on what people, if they're let's say, they're consistent with what they're doing, and it, and then they have like a track record that's built on that, like, okay, we see you doing this all the time, so it's not a facade, and in a relationship world, people tend to, take on these characteristics that are not themselves, and then you'll create an issue within in the male female diaspora.
Those are really good points. I would have to say, like, just when it comes to like building genuine connections, I think it can happen. Like if there's, I would say, the right meaning. Because I think with social
Hmm.
media, obviously a lot of stuff is highlights. But I think if the right intention is, is going for it. So when it comes to, let's just say you meet someone, your intention is to really try to be with someone, and other people have intention where it's trying to, it's trying to have sex with you, or
Yeah,
quote unquote they say smash or whatever. So I
yeah,
think that it all depends on the motive, as well as, you know, do you want a genuine relationship, or do you want what you see on social media?
Exactly.
So when it comes to social media, this is a big one. Social media and relationship insecurity. How does that fuel jealousy and distrust?
That's a big topic. I feel like when it comes to jealousy and insecurity and stuff like that, or mistrust, when being in a relationship because of social media, um, I think that's due to the person and how they interact with social media. If I'm honest, I feel like, for instance, if I'm in a relationship and that person is liking a bunch of pictures of a person that's very provocative and stuff, that may start some conflict, right? And stuff like that. Um, so I feel like it can cause mistrust and infidelity and all those things because of the access, right? It's so quick to do little things. But I do think that sometimes the jealousy aspect of it comes from people not being secure in themselves, because not everything revolving around social media can be cheating or and things like that. So I feel like it depends on the scenario and the standpoint and what a person is doing within their social media. Um, and then thereafter, if I go ahead and I bring to my partner like, hey, this is a problem for me. Can we like set up this boundary where we're both coming to a compromise and we're okay with it, and the boundary is overstepped constantly? Then that's a deeper issue. So I can't trust you because you have neglected the boundary and the thing that we have compromised on. So I think it's just what a person is doing on social media, how secure you are with yourself, because you can also bring past problems in relationships, relationship problems to a new one. Like, oh well, my last boyfriend went ahead and cheated on me with social media with what he was doing, and so did the other one. So you put that onto the new person, but that may not be them. So I feel like it's different things with it when it comes to the jealousy aspect.
yeah. And even like with like you said, and even with people like with their past friends, let's say that you're friends with one of your exes, and here they are, they're trying to DM you and write all kind of stuff, but your partner doesn't know that that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and then you happen to stumble across something, that's on their social media. Because I find a lot of times, even like when I see people going out, they'll take pictures and they'll be like, they'll kind of block out their spouse, and I'm looking like, wow, like we never see who you're with, like that kind of thing. So in your mind, most men, like, okay, coming from a man's point of view, like if I have a woman that's, we're dating, and then every time we're going out, you're taking pictures, and then we're friends on social media, but I don't ever see me in none of the pics. I'm like, okay, so what is this about? Are we trying to hide the fact that we're together, or you got something going on the side? So that could create an atmosphere of distrust, just based on that. Because social media, ever since it came along, it's a gift and a curse at the same time, because social media can be good to connect to people all around the world, and we're living in the social media era now, because we got a lot of people that's making a lot of money off of social media.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be a curse too, just like what you said with the provocative pictures and stuff like that, because everybody's twerking and dressing half naked, and it's
Right.
like most men, we're looking, from my standpoint, we like to look at stuff like that, and here
Mm-hmm.
you are liking this kind of picture. I was like, oh, so that's what you like, and it might not be like how your woman looks, and it's like, oh, well, if you like that, you need to go get with that type thing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's a lot of issues that, and it can create jealousy just based in a relationship type setting, because that it's just so open for everybody to do anything and see stuff. Even if you have somebody like that was an ex that was like kind of obsessed with you, so here they are stalking you, looking for you on social media and stuff like that. So
Right.
you know that from that standpoint, that's how I can see it as far as the jealous factor in the social media world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's so much access, right? You have access to anything. Like if you want to search it
Exactly.
up, you can go ahead and do that. So it's like, and then your feed is based off of what you're entertained by, also. So that if something
Yeah.
provocative or whatever, vice versa, if like, I don't know, I'm going ahead and I see a bunch of men with their shirts off and stuff like that, and my man like, hey, okay, that's prominent right there on your feed. That's a problem. So I just feel like with the jealousy aspect, and also just because social media makes you compare, off bat, that's where that comes in, and you just have
Yeah.
access to so many things.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, people will spy on your page too. You'd be looking like,
Right.
well, who is this? Sending you random requests. You don't know who these people are, and then it might be somebody stalking, like I was saying before, and then just that alone. So I think it's like you said, you set a boundary and be like, okay, we'll do it like this. Basically, having access, you guys both having access to each other's social media. Like, okay, I not to be like overly indulgent to somebody else's business, but the boundaries basically having being transparent with each other in
Right.
in a relationship type setting. Like, okay, you don't have to know everything you're doing, but it's just like it would be more trustful, and it's like, okay, I can trust you. You're on here looking or whatever, scrolling. I'll even hand you my phone, like, look, and then,
Right.
even that too, like, okay, look, this is what I'm doing, going, and then Messenger is another thing too, because a lot of people got DMs and Messenger, and that's another issue as far as social media. Yeah.
It's so much. It's various apps like Twitter, Instagram. It's just now TikTok. Like I don't even know how you do that through TikTok, but it's just so much. It's so many apps, and you can do so many things. And just with certain features, like where people can hide messages or hide this, that, and the third. Like it just causes too many problems. So I feel like when it comes to social media, and people are getting in a relationship, to have those conversations of like, what's the boundary for you, or what can affect you, just those type of honest conversations, so you're not surprised when something happens, and everything like that. So I feel like people can go ahead and navigate those conversations easier if you go ahead and have the hard conversations in the beginning regarding around multiple things.
Yeah. And then just being, clear about what you want, and like I always say to myself, like, I wouldn't go get with a woman that doesn't have all the features that I don't, that I like, that, that you're supposed to have somebody that you like and they have everything that you want, and you're not going outside looking for that. Just like, looking at the provocative pictures and all stuff like that. Like, okay, if you like that, get a woman that looks like that. That way you don't have to
Mhm.
be out here looking at something constantly on the side, and it's like, oh well, if you want, and I've heard a woman be like, oh, if you want that, then you go towards that. And
Mhm.
a lot of us, we do that to ourselves. Just like, don't put yourself in a position to where you got to create mistrust between you and your partner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't lose your relationship over something as social media. That social media changes all the time, and it can be taken away, honestly. Like, if society wants to go that route and like, okay, no, it's too detrimental, we're going to take that away. Like, what are you necessarily getting out of social media that is more important with building your relationship, or what you can get from your partner? I don't really understand it, but yeah.
I think it was more created to people, for people to connect, like Facebook. Okay, you connect with a lot of, like me. I have a lot of high school friends like in the inner city. I went to Crenshaw High. Like, we have our own page, Crenshaw High Class of 2002, where we all connect with each other. But me being a single man now, I don't have none of those issues as far as that, like, any trust issues. But me, when I was in a relationship, I see what it does. Like, especially if somebody's constantly scrolling and their face is glued to their phone, and you
Yes.
come over, and then you got you turn your phone, you put the phone face down. It's like, oh well, are you getting hit? Somebody's texting you that you don't want me to see. Stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then just finding out if somebody was even talking to their ex. Like, okay, what do you guys got to talk about? Stuff like that. And being clear in the beginning, like, okay, if you're friends, you got male friends, like, let me know that that's what that is. I shouldn't have to find out on a sneaky tip. Like, and then
Right.
same the vice versa with me. Like, if I got a lot of female friends, what do are you guys trying to do a link up or something like that? Okay, why are you friends with this person?
Hmm.
Even looking a certain way, because I feel that has a thing to do with it too. If you get with somebody and then you see somebody that looks better than them, it's like, oh well, she might have the potential to take my man, or the other way around, the same thing. But I think it's just more of just being transparent, and in the beginning, when you get with somebody, just like having those boundaries set and explaining and being in detail what you expect out of them. That way you don't have those issues.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Um, I'm in agreement. I guess half and half. I agree with you guys as far as being transparent, though. It's like having that conversation with your significant other, so you guys are aware, like, hey, I don't like this, or I don't like this, or I don't mind this, and I don't mind that. And it's all based off of the partner. Like, I would say for me, I don't, that stuff doesn't really move me when it comes to liking, and because I don't really be on there to be looking, or for me have time to check and see what you're doing. So my thing is that's going to come out anyway if that's what you're doing. But I think
Hmm.
that when it comes to being in a relationship, it's almost like a competition. The competition is
Yeah.
okay, well, oh well, she doing this, you come home, well, why I'm looking at them do it, or they're wearing matching shoes. They are going to these places. Let's go on a vacation. And it's just
Yeah.
like, is that you talking, or is that what you saw like 5 minutes ago? Right. But it's
Yeah.
just like it's like a competition. But I guess my biggest thing when it comes to the social media is somewhat like a fairy tale. I don't think people really understand, like, okay, on social media, it's highlights. You don't see the arguments. You don't see the negative things that can be said. You don't see the drama with the kid. You don't see none of that. But they
Hmm.
post happiness, so you looking at another page thinking, "Oh, their life is always happy," and then you get mad at your significant other because they're not doing what they're doing. So it becomes a
Yeah.
competition. But I do want to add before we go on, because that's you got brought up a point, and I know some people, like, when it comes to likes,
Hmm.
or why do you like that page, or why do you like this? And for me personally, like, when it comes to like it'll be something like I'll probably see like happy birthday or something. I may not even look and see what the person is wearing, but it's just like, okay, I'm gonna like it. And then on obviously on
Hmm.
Instagram, it's a heart. So it's kind of funny. So it's like it's just a heart. So did you love her? Like, it was a like. So I'm asking you, that's how How would you assess that from you saying liking from one?
Um, Honestly, like when I talk to talk to a lot of people my age or just my friends, I have a different opinion about it. Likes in comments, I guess depending on what you're commenting, don't does not bother me. If I have to, for me personally, be logged into your social media to see what you're doing, to me that feels like a job. I don't want to have to scope through what you're doing. I feel like I should just trust you with what you are doing. And if you're doing something you're not supposed to, that'll come to surface eventually, whether I'm scoping it out or whether I'm not. Um, but I feel like the likes and everything are depending on what you're liking. Can vary with opinions because of how people see social media. Like for instance, like how I said in the beginning, if you are not secure, you are going to compare. Well, you see her, like you like her pictures and she dressed like that. I don't dress like that. Um but the person knew how you were dressed before they met you. Like it's just it's just things like that. I feel like we go ahead and give social media too much power um to change us, to change and compare with what we have going on in our relationships and stuff like that. For instance, like how you guys brought up, like, oh, you see people go on vacations or something. Maybe in where you are right now in your relationship, y'all cannot go on no vacations like that. That's not to say you can't at all, but maybe not right now. Maybe the funds are not allowing that right now. So it's, you shouldn't compare like, oh well, they're doing this and they got this going on. Focus on what you have going on. You don't have, because you don't know what a person either even had to do to get the type of lifestyle that they had. And just because they're posting you what seems good things doesn't mean that their lifestyle is just the grand best thing. So I feel like social media, yes, as you said, shows the highlights, but we have to kind of come back and reel back in reality and focus on what we have going on. If you want the the luxury to go on a bunch of vacation stuff and stuff like that, grind where you are and get and go where you want to go. You know, like if that's a goal for you, make it a goal for you. Don't make it a comparison between lifestyles, because that's where it gets sticky. And that's where it becomes problematic. So for me personally, I don't care about the likes and stuff. I don't care about how many likes I'm getting. I'm posting when I'm posting it, and that's just it. I feel like people just give social media a little bit too much power on to affecting like what they have to change about themselves or relationships or family dynamics and so on and so forth. Because it's very opinion based, all of it.
Yeah,
No,
I
yeah, I would. Yeah, I would say
I would agree.
definitely. I think as it so when it comes to that, I think the biggest thing is what you said is the insecurity part. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's really big because if you're insecure, regardless of what that person going have going on, if they're coming to you and they're expressing their stuff to you, they might not even think that's a big deal. But it's at the end of the day, you feel some type of way because of that. And all you got to do is, hey, why did you like the page? Oh no, it was just nothing. Okay. Or how about, okay, let me put on something sexy for you if you feel that way. Be
Mm-hmm.
confident in yourself to say, okay, if I thought that this person liked this, I'm gonna show I'm better.
Mm-hmm.
It got to be a mindset. You got to be confident in yourself in order to, you know, to make it work. Which goes on to, I would say the next one, which is kind of what we was talking about. So, is online validation damaging real life intimacy?
I would say it could be in some circumstances, um, because like I go back to that where the looks, um, our minds are wired to like what we like. That just like if somebody, this is like kind of, it might sound strange, but like this is like watching porn. Okay, a lot of men get desensitized watching porn. So here you are looking at something that probably doesn't even exist in your home. You see what I'm saying? And you're desensitizing yourself. And basically, when you go to get intimate with your woman, it throws you off because your body is looking for that feeling, that dopamine that it had when you were sitting there, getting aroused by watching porn or something like that, even like twerking and all that. So like, oh, you looking at a big old ass like that, you want to make sure your girl's butt is big like that when you doing it, and y'all having y'all time together, but it can throw you off too because you're psychologically screwed just from watching that, and now your mind is not reacting how it's supposed to be when you're just supposed to be focused on who you're with. You know what I'm saying? And here you are thinking of something else. Oh, and then and that creates other issues. As far as the intimacy level goes, and being online, you'll see something like, okay, well, they went, and did this like you were saying last time, and people weren't matching clothes and this and stuff like that. So you have somebody mad over there looking upside your head, like, okay, we'll eventually get to that, but let us work our way up to that first. Like, give me a chance to even get there. Even like being a muscle bound man with a six pack, and here you are, you might not have none of that. You take off your shirt, and girl looking at you like, damn, you ain't got no muscles. And then she might
Beer
get
belly.
turned off, like, yeah, like I want to rub on a six pack. And then nowadays, I'm starting to see this thing where women are starting to like thick man. You ain't even got to be in shape. So everything's kind of changing, like. And the guys are getting the one up that it really ain't in shape. It's like, I forgot what they call the bodies, but it just, you don't really have to have nothing like that. So it goes with people's preference and what they like. And then like, just being secure in yourself, man, not letting that affect your mind and and the intimacy as far as that goes. But other than that, it's just, you have to kind of zero in, okay, this is my relationship, this is what me and you we're doing, and everything outside of this doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it again, it has an effect because people allow it to have an effect.
Hmm.
Like it just one's social media post and like lifestyle does not have to be your lifestyle. Like it doesn't. Like, be okay in the bubble that you are in. Like if your dude has six pack, he has six pack, and if he doesn't, he doesn't. Like why have a problem with it because of what you're seeing on social media? But when you got with him because of how he looked, just head on. So it's just why, and vice versa for the ladies. Like, why does your girl need to have a big butt because that's what you're watching on social media? You knew she didn't have a big butt when you saw her the first time. Like, it just like, why do I have to change now because of what you saw yesterday or what you saw last year? Like, why do I? No, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna change because social media is changing every day or your feed is changing every hour or so. Like, it's not
Yeah.
realistic. So I feel like it's just, again, like getting out of that bubble and getting back into reality. You like what you like, just stay there. Now if that changes, that's okay that that changes, but don't go ahead and try to put some expectations on somebody else. No, if you want to cut it off and get what you're seeing on social media, then you do that. But don't go ahead and make somebody entitled to change because, oh, well, that's what I saw and I want to like spruce up our relationship or whatever the case is. If you came up to that conclusion by yourself, then let's talk about it. But if you are making me compete with social media, which is something I can never compete with, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Because people come from
That
all
was that,
different
that was a
walks of
good point.
life. It is. It really was. Yeah, people come from all different walks of life. You got men out here that have money and can provide those different lifestyles. Mr. Ronnie Romance, that's what he is. And everybody's not Ronnie Romance.
Right.
You got a guy that, and what, like you said, you know what you got with when you first got with the person. So here you are putting an expectation on somebody, you might be stressing them the hell out.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here trying to
Yes.
be something that I'm not. You might be hitting the gym and overdoing it, and it's like, oh, I'm burnt out now. Like, yeah, because you put this expectation on me. I'm not going to get a six pack within 30 days. It takes work. And, you got with me, I was built like, a trash truck driver, and, that's what that is. You better like this
Right.
trash truck driving body.
Right. But even then, like, I'm secure being a trash truck driving body. I don't want no six pack. I don't want to put in all that work right now. I want to be, I'm secure where I am and how I'm fit or whatever. And it's just like for girls, like, and just women in general, like, oh, like, just comparing yourself, I need to wear this type of clothing more, or because this is what he sees on social media. No, be secure within yourself. And then also comparing your partner, and giving them expectations based on what you see on social media, you are now dimming their self-worth. So when they go into the next relationship, if y'all don't work out and they have these really bad insecurities, and that's becoming problematic for the next relationship that they get in, it's because of the social media. That needs to be taken out. Like, it's too much. The comparison is too much.
Yeah, because there's somebody for everybody, and somebody will love what you got. Trust me,
Right.
and that's how that works. What you somebody treats you like crap, and you have somebody treat you like gold. And it's just different things. I that from what I see, you don't have to go with everybody's opinion or what they want. It's about being secure in yourself, and you project that, and it'll come back to you how you want it.
Exactly.
What I think is funny is, like you guys made some good points, but when you do that, now you're trying to change for that expectation, and now you finally get that six pack, and she break up with you anyway, or he break up
There
with
you
you
go.
anyway. So it's
Yeah.
just like you done did all that work trying to change, not for yourself, but for this person, when really she wasn't interested in you to begin with. Because if she was, she wouldn't try to change. She'll love you for who you are.
Hmm.
So when you start
Now,
seeing that, you start to notice those red flags off the top. Because if that's the case, then you start asking all these different questions. Now, if I came to you, okay, yeah, I pretty much, let's say I had to see, or you're telling me, hey, you probably need to do, okay, I may do it the way based off of how you tell me. But if you were sitting there
Hmm.
watching this and just some random day, hey, I think you gotta start looking at that to see, okay, what's gotten into you.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, that's even like how they started these certain fads. Like all of a sudden, every man had to have a beard. Everybody had to be like Nipsey Hussle. The marathon continues. Every man is not Nipsey Hussle, and we all can't grow a full beard like that. That's
hmm
that man. And you got men that can grow beards. Okay, you like a man with a beard? Go get that. Same with men. Like, okay, you got the BBLs that came around, but it's starting to. I'm seeing that change now. You got a lot of women are not liking that no more. They want to go back to their regular bodies because of what the taboo behind it. They say that it smells, and then the little legs with the it doesn't go with the body. It looks funny. I see it every day. And I'm like, well, if he likes that, you got the guy, he's holding on tight to his woman's arm. Like, he paid for that. I'm like, well, okay, more power to you. I wouldn't do it, but if in that world you like that, okay. But it's just like social media, it creates fads.
That's what
Everybody are
created
going
it.
after these
Mhm.
certain things, and it's like, no, be who you are, be comfortable in who you are, and then those people that are genuine will be the same with you, and that you'll attract that towards yourself. You don't have to go out and try to be something you're not, because the number one thing right now that I'm seeing is authenticity. When you're authentic with yourself, life tends to go the way you want it to go. When you start being something else that you're not, that's when the problems arise. Yeah.
hmm 100%. And then doing things like that with the BBLs and stuff, you're doing something necessarily not that will make you happy, but make your partner happy. It's not your job necessarily. You're supposed to add to your partner's happiness, not
Hmm.
go ahead and make them happy. Them by themselves should already make them happy. I'm supposed to be adding to. Not, it's
Yeah.
not my goal and my life purpose to make you happy because we're in a relationship. That's not how that works. So you're
Yeah.
going ahead and getting these BBLs, or I don't know, wearing more makeup or whatever the case is, because that's something that he likes. And that's fine. But if you don't like it and you're uncomfortable and just doing things to make him happy, where does your happiness go?
Yeah.
So it's things like that. Like, you don't change yourself because another person is putting certain beauty standards or expectations on you due to social media. They can go out and get that. There's a billion people on this planet. They can find that somewhere.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
A
right,
lot of
so we're
people.
gonna go to part of the show that's called Battle of the Sexes. So
Okay.
for you, Destiny,
Mhm.
how can men better understand a woman's emotions?
Hmm. I would say first and foremost to understand that women are more. tapped into their emotions. I feel like sometimes I guess that comes off as a problem for men, and they want us to, oh well, you're not thinking logically and stuff like that. But we are emotional beings. Um our feelings really matter. They affect our judgment and stuff like that. So I feel like first and foremost it's the understanding to know that hey, we are emotional, and that doesn't have to be problematic for you. And I think second, talking to us and really trying to talk to understand us through our emotions, because we don't have these emotions just because we want to be crazy. There's a reason why we feel what we feel, and we can break that down and give examples. So I feel like there needs to be a little bit of patience within there, and kind of talking us through our emotions. Now if we a little mad, maybe you want to maybe let us calm down for a second, and then we could talk about it, because how you approach your emotions is important too. But I think the sense of understanding that we are emotional, talking to us to understand why we feel what we feel, will go a long way. And being open to also tap into yours, that will kind of help us also, because if you have a guard up with your emotions and you don't talk to us through it, how do you expect us to do the same? That's hypocrisy. So it's like giving us the space as we will create the space for you as well.
And I think so more of today's society, we've been told to men to
All
suppress our
right.
feelings. So suppressing our feelings doesn't help, you know, but that's what's been taught, throughout life. Okay, don't say nothing. Oh, you're a wuss. Even the fact that some men need to cry. I would never cry in front of my woman, but it's just like we don't have that connection, like that we supposed to have. And then us understanding our woman, because sometimes y'all expect us to read y'all minds. Like, well, why you didn't know that? You didn't see the look on my face? No, I didn't know that. I would be better if you kind of say so, to kind of hint around that, but that goes with that connection. Okay, if we have that connection to where I've been around you long enough to see, like, all right, that bothers her, and I shouldn't be doing that, or even saying something out of line and making you feel a certain type of way, you know. Um, we should have that connection to be able to distinguish, okay, what's our partner feeling right now, stuff
Hmm.
like that, and then being able to discuss it and not just holding it in, because just holding stuff in, all you're doing is building a chaotic atmosphere, because one day you're going to explode, and it might turn into something that leading y'all to break up, or you end up breaking something in the house, something like that, because you got people with emotional problems, you
Hmm.
know. And if we're able to talk about it and see each other's way through it and come into a meeting, a middle point, to where we can be like, all right, I'll meet you halfway on that. Okay, what I need to do more that can make you feel, more secure, or what am I doing that's not enough, or something like that. And on the man side, we, us, like, a lot of us, we don't express our emotions. We'll do stuff like go hit weights or something like that and be like, all right, I didn't got the stress out. But like, if we have a problem with our partner, I think it'll be better, like, okay, am I able to come to you and express this to you without you tearing me down and making me feel like this small for saying something? And it's like, damn, I can't even talk to you about nothing. And then that's when the division starts. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, I can't go to her and talk to her about nothing. So, and everybody's starting to look out somewhere else. So, well, I need to go over here and vent. And you might have some people that have come along and you're able to vent to. And then there goes the separation between you two. So just having, an understanding between, both parties, and being able to meet, halfway, and and listening, being receptive, and not, okay, I should allow you to vent to me fully. I need to sit there and be quiet and look at you and listen to what's being said, and not
Hmm.
interrupt you at any time. Like, okay, I understand you fully. And sometimes that might help you. You're like, okay, he was able to sit there and he didn't interrupt me, and then he heard, seen my way through it. And then how we approach the situation, and not being like hostile, coming back at you, and like, oh, well, I don't think it should be like that. No, analyze what's being said, listen to what she's being said, because a lot of the problem be from us. Like, I ain't gonna lie, it's like, damn,
it's so obvious, bro. Like, and then the other half would be that small percentage of that are women that are just crazy. Like, all right, well, ain't no getting to you, that type thing. So
Don't call them
just
crazy.
being
Don't do
receptive.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I feel like and that's for both partners. I feel like it just they both need that open space and that
hmm
patience and understanding. And when they're explaining something, just because it wouldn't bother you, or that just because that's not how you would take it, that doesn't mean that that's the case for them. Like they're not you.
hmm
Their responses and triggers and stuff, that it's not based off of how you would react. It's based off of how they would. So I
yeah,
think just that understanding of okay, it wouldn't bother me, but why exactly does it bother you? Let's tackle that. It's not a me against you,
yeah,
it's us against the problem. So let's tackle the problem together.
yeah,
So I feel like just that open space and actual communication, just how you said, like, oh, like women be mad, like, oh, well, you didn't see my face. Maybe you're not at that point of communication where you know what face that is. Maybe
yeah,
he needs some more time to know that face, particularly. So give him a little space. So I think it's just, again, like, for one, not thinking that my partner has to react the way I think they would. They're a human being, they're going to react how they want to. And just having that space where both I can come to you if something is really bothering me with whatever feelings, and vice versa. And I think having this space for men to actually express themselves and express their emotions, because it's hard for them to do with the circle of men already, um is very important, especially for our black men. Y'all carry a lot.
yeah,
um and so having that open space and being able to be transparent is very important when it comes to emotion, because we're just holding these things in, and we wait till we both burst and it comes to something, it can develop into something toxic, and that doesn't help both me or you. So I feel like, again, just that open space and understanding communication will go a long way with understanding everyone's feelings, to be honest.
yeah.
Okay, and I think that goes. You're going right into the next segue. This was for you, Houston. I'll probably chime in on this. Why do you think men struggle to express their emotions?
Okay, yeah. That goes back to that point. We struggle basically, I would say, based on like how everything's meant. Like, okay, if I say this, how am I going to be looked at? Like, okay, are you going to understand what I'm saying, or is it a thing where you're looking at me like I'm just weak? Like, oh, well, why are you complaining about that? Like, man, you get up, you handle it, stuff like that. So we struggle to express ourselves just based on the feedback that we get, from our spouse, or our better half, or whatever you want to call it. And it's just saying, like, it can even be trigger words. Like, you say something and then they go off on you, like, oh, well, I don't want to hear that. I've even heard women disrespect their men, like, oh, you're a bitch. And you're like, damn, like, bruh, I can't say nothing to you, and you sitting over there, you just by yourself looking crazy, and it's like, well, I can't express myself to her because she won't allow me to even speak, stuff like that, and most men are just hesitant because we don't have that good receptive, coming from the other person, they got to be able to be understanding it, you know not just sitting there and just like, okay, not listening, or like, here we go again, same problem, looking up in the sky and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And then you get that feedback from them, and it's like, I'm not saying anything to you. I'd rather I go drive somewhere and go over here because it's obviously you're not listening to me, stuff like that. And then you might have an understanding partner, which is probably rare nowadays, that'll sit there and just listen to you, like, okay, all right. And then you try to come to a solution. But I think it's based more on just the other person's reaction towards what you're trying to say, and their feedback, and not understanding what you're, you venting, basically.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna chime in because I like what you said. I think that when it comes to, I guess, women somewhat understanding the person, to understanding that with, so if we're depending on obviously culture too, but if a man is coming, they're in a relationship, if they're coming to open up to you, maybe they don't open up to their family or open up to anyone else. So when that time does come, when they open up to you, it means the world. And if you shut them down that one time, it'll change everything, because he's going to feel in that one time he let his guard down. Now you pretty much just change his whole perspective. And now he don't feel comfortable talking. So now he may go vent at work, or he may go vent, elsewhere, instead of venting to you where it should be. But that one time, well, he felt I put my guard down and I let you know like this was me being vulnerable, and you take that away, we shut down. And that's not good, when it comes. That's something that obviously for guys who have to work on as far as shutting down and be able to be more
Mhm.
communicative. But I think that plays a major part to why men struggle with expressing self, or I would say in the finding out if they're able to talk about it, their childhood, because that's where some of the stuff come from. Rather it's trust, rather is different things when it comes to opening up, because maybe again, not to knock black moms, but having a mom, we would look at it as some teenage boy as nagging. So if you're doing that to us, we're going to automatically shut down, because now we're thinking about our mom pretty much nagging at us or whatever. So it's just like you said, Destiny, being open to listen to you guys, really hearing you out, not interrupting, but also when a man comes to open up to you, have that listening ear to where you're able to hear and understand. Okay, I'm not going to. This is his time. Open up to me. I'll probably open up to him all the time. This one time he open up, let me not snap on him, regardless if I'm having a bad day, because he never comes to me and open up to me, right? So
Mhm.
it's just having that give or take, and also understanding from both sides, and understand, okay, we have to meet in the middle.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think getting out of the tough black man, especially for the black community, that society has put on y'all.
Yeah.
Yes, y'all are tough, but sometimes you guys have your weak moments as well. And I feel like because we carry that and expect y'all to be that 24/7, that also is where we get the problem of not listening to y'all. And that needs to change. Because we always expect, well, no, he got it, and like that's not that big of a deal, but it's a big deal to him though. So if it is, you need to listen to that. Because what may not be a big deal to you, with all the stuff that you bring to him, he still listens, and if he doesn't, it would be a problem. So I think also, along with that, when it comes to you men opening up and you don't get the response or the understanding that you needed, also for you to voice that to us too, because I feel like sometimes when you don't get that, it's like, well, I just can't talk to her, so I'm just not going to talk to her like about stuff like that. I'm not finna get emotional. But that doesn't help. So like if it has become a problem, let it be known it's become a problem. Like, hey, the last time I tried to go ahead and tell you this is this, you kind of blew me off. Like, how you want me to go ahead and be in touch with my emotions and go ahead and open up to you, and you don't give me that space? Like, that's a problem. I'm not gonna do it. So I feel like having that communication also, for you guys to express that that is a problem, will kind of, I guess, change, hopefully, for us to be like, okay, like I need to settle down and actually hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
And next
And that,
question, topic that I think should be kind of interesting, from both male and women's point of view, because I think this is where it may be different. But so they would say, when social media, let's say micro cheating on social media, was that harmless or harmful? Or how do you look at it as micro cheating? Like, what do you look at as micro cheating when it comes to social media?
hmm.
Um, I feel like, um, I feel like that's the thing though. Like, what, based on everybody, because everybody has their opinion about it, what is exactly micro cheating for you? Um, for me, I don't know. Like, I don't think, I guess I've really thought about it, or like went ahead and reflected on what I consider as micro cheating, or what I would deem like is really, really disrespectful when it comes to social media. Um, because I'm not looking for certain things, but if it comes to surface, it comes to surface. For some girls, like you, following, it's not micro cheating, but following a bunch of females would be a problem. Or commenting on a female's picture would be a problem. Would that could be considered micro cheating in a way, or just being, I don't know, I guess a little saying something that would come off as flirtatious. It really depends, and there's just these is a very grand umbrella on what people would deem as micro cheating. Um, so yeah, I feel like it can, if things continue to add up, then that's something that's going to affect your relationship. Um, but I feel like if it's small things that can go ahead and be conversated about and fixed. So I guess it's just where a person stands on what exactly is cheating for them. Um, and going from there, I would say.
Okay. So yeah, I would say it'd be probably like, like if you see somebody make a comment like, "Oh, damn, I see you looking good," or stuff like that, and you're like, what do you mean by that? Like, and especially liking something that's probably provocative, that
Mm-hmm.
you'll look at like, okay, why did you like this? Do you want to be with that person type thing, or is that what you're looking for, or what you got going on behind the scenes? Why are you liking this, or why are you making that kind of comment based on what was posted? you
Mm-hmm.
know, and then that can create an issue just based on what people think. Not engaging into certain um in certain topics and stuff like that on, like, like if you see something like like I was saying with twerking, and then the guy with his shirt off, and then somebody like dress, so you make a comment that we might think to ourselves like, okay, you don't say nothing like that towards me, like when I get dressed up or something like that, and stuff like that, as far as the micro cheating. But it all depends on what you feel like. I mean, if you see that that's a problem, then make a comment towards something that you see, and then okay, I feel that was, that violated our relationship, kind of, thing like that. So yeah, micro cheating is basically what the person feels what it is.
Yeah.
You Yeah.
I think for me,
Hmm.
like I said, I've never really had issues or checked when it came to social media. So if something was going on, I probably wouldn't know. But I guess the way I look at it, because I see some people that be flipping out. But if like let's just say your significant other posts a picture and a person is trying to holler at them. Me personally, I'm gonna like it. And the only reason why I'm gonna like it because it's like, well, I know my significant other look good, so it's just like, that's just my take on it. Like, so I wouldn't necessarily, get offended when it comes to that or like get into the micro cheating because, like I said, if someone's gonna do something, they're gonna do it, regardless if you know it or not. And that's just my thought process and mindset when it comes to being in a relationship. Because at the end of the day, if you're gonna be in a relationship or situation, you got to be confident. Because if you're not confident, it's gonna be issues, period. No matter what that person do, because you're gonna be trying to call them. If they're not answering, you're gonna be wondering why they're not answering. So it's like you got to be confident with it within yourself, not cocky or arrogant, but confident in knowing who you are and knowing who your person is. Because at the end of the day, like I said, if someone is commenting on my significant other, that's why I chose you. I hope they commented because if they wasn't commenting, then I think I'm gonna have an
Yeah.
issue or something. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
get with you.
I want no
Yeah.
pussy.
Yeah. I feel like it depends on like what a person's, I guess, their actions, like exactly what they're doing on their social media, and also what they entertain from social media as well. So if you're in a
Mm,
relationship, right? And a person, how you said, like, okay, if a person goes ahead and comments, you know, your significant other, you're gonna like it. But if that person keeps on and then it turns to like, oh, I'm trying to holler at you in your DMs, maybe then that's the problem. Like, okay, you need to block that person. Like, okay, you know what they want. Like, what's the issue? So I feel like it can turn into different things. Of course, it has to deal with like what you are doing on your social media, but what you are also entertaining. If, for instance, like if your ex, like, okay, that's your ex and they keep swiping up and putting emoji, whatever, that, okay, that's disrespectful to me. It's not necessarily that you're cheating, but if you're constantly entertaining it or you not telling her that's a boundary or something, then that's where the problems start. So I think again, like it's not just action based off of like what you are doing, but it is based off what you are entertaining for well. as well, because you're constantly entertaining and letting people think that stuff is sweet. They're not going to respect our relationship, so that also means you are not either, because you
Mm.
entertaining it. So
Yeah,
I feel
and
like
you
it's certain degrees to it.
yeah, and you basically inviting that kind of behavior towards you by
Exactly.
just letting it keep going on and not checking it. Like, okay, look, this is what it is. I'm in a relationship. I don't need you trying to DM me. Stop liking all my pics, stuff like that. Because if your significant other sees that, it's like, oh well, you haven't said anything towards them, so obviously you're liking it. Stuff like
Right.
that. So that's when the problems start to arise. Like, okay, you didn't do anything to stop it. You know.
Exactly.
So that's what you'll start having issues. The micro cheating. Yep.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. I have a. I'm gonna come back to you, Jr. So let's just say someone likes it, because at the end of the day, let's just be honest. You can nip it in the bud when it comes. You can block them or whatever. But if someone likes you, let's just say someone likes the picture, likes two of your pictures. Now someone's questioning you on that, but then it's like you can't control the person liking. You don't even contact the person, and it may not even you may not even be thinking that deep into it. That like, oh, this person like me. You just pretty much I get on, I get off. Whereas your significant other may be on there more than you. So now it's like, okay, now you're making a big deal, and now it creates conflict because one person didn't think it was a big deal because they're not even realizing this is a situation until you bring it to them. But you bringing it to them instead of communicating with them, letting them, hey, what is this? You just bringing it to them like they were supposed to know. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like it's kind of it's based off of situations. That's what I say. Cause like if you I want to say Tanya said like if you're working or whatever and someone DM you or whatever, you're not worried. You're focused on work, right? Or if you're in a job to where you're working around men or working around women, your significant other needs to be mature or um, understanding and knowing who you are, that you're not going to do that. Because if they feel some type of way because you're around other men or other women, that's their insecurity. Because if
Yeah.
you're secure with yourself and you trust the person that you with, you're not gonna have no issues because you're gonna like get your money, boo. You get what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
that's my take on it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't stop who likes you, and that makes a lot of sense. Because if they keep liking it, it's like, okay, and they can make a fake page and then start over again. You know.
It's true.
That means you got to
Yeah.
stop on your hands, dude.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the liking though, I feel like that's harmless. Like you can't when somebody likes a picture, like I don't think it's that much depth to a like. I don't feel like it's really that deep. But I guess like if a person in the terms of the micro cheating, I guess like if a person keeps like swiping up and like sending certain emojis or something, or like says something inappropriate or whatever the case, and that becomes a consistent thing, I think then I could see why it turns into a problem. But like little
Yeah.
things, like if a person is liking and stuff, like again, like you said, that's out of our control. Like what do you want me to do? What about the other 100 people that liked my picture? Like, do you want me to block them too? So it's like with likes and stuff like that, I don't think it should have that much depth and effect on a person, because like when I like stuff, I don't remember what you had on. I don't know. Like I cannot recollect that. Like it was a like and I kept on swiping. So
Yeah.
yeah, so like with likes and stuff, I don't think it has to be that deep. But if a person is actually like trying to get your attention in a certain way with like the comments and the swipe ups and stuff, then that becomes a different type of problem.
Yeah. Because a lot of us, we just unconsciously scroll,
Right.
like, and we don't just look at the content that we're really looking at. It's like, oh, that's a nice bam, like, and then you're going on to the next thing because you're just in a scrolling motion, and you're really not putting too much, feeling into it or thought behind it. You're just doing it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree with you as far as that, like the likes being like not, kind of harmless, but
Hmm.
when it becomes a problem is when it becomes excessive and they're trying to get your attention in other kind of ways.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So you guys want to have your social media, whether it's Instagram where they can follow you?
Say again.
your social media. What's your social media so people can follow you guys?
Oh, okay. Mine is my first name, Husto, and then it's going to be my last name, CALDERON _07.
And yours, Destiny.
Um, that's how you know I don't even be on social media like that. Let me see what it is.
I know I had to think of mine for a second there, like,
I'm like, what is it? Okay, I got it. So don't judge me on my name, y'all. I made it when I was young. Okay. But it's damn. So DAMNN dot and then it's and then DESS. So that's it.
okay.
All right. So I want to thank you guys for being on, opening up to listen. I really appreciate you guys so much. Next week we'll be discussing part 2 on social media and gaslighting. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for being on the show. And please hit the like and subscribe button. And I hope you guys that's listening have been open enough to succeed, and you guys have a blessed week.
Peace.